Hey everyone, it is Pokemon Trainer Ryan, and today we are back with Let's Discuss Pokemon characters, and today we are doing one of the best characters in Sun and Moon. Of course, we are talking about Kiawe. Kiawe is a character that appears in both the Sun and Moon anime and the Pokemon Sun and Moon games as well. And according to the games, he is the Akala Island trial captain of the Wella Volcano Park. Now let's get into voice actors. Alright, first things first, the English voice actor for Kiawe in the Sun and Moon All the Way to Journeys is Mark Swint. Over in the wonderful land of Japan, where Kiawe is known as Kaki, in Japan he's voiced by Kaito Ishikawa. So in Sun and Moon, just like the other characters, Kiawe met Ash when he randomly went into the Pokemon school run by Professor Kukui and Professor Samson. And also, he did watch Kiawe use a Z move for the first time when Team Skull tried to make him forfeit his Charizard. And by then, Ash would become friends with Kiawe along with everyone, and they would go on many adventures together. So after Ash and Kiawe meet for the first time, eventually they would have a battle against Ash's Pikachu and Kiawe's Turtonator. And obviously what we know from Kiawe's Turtonator, it is very powerful because for one, getting on its shell is almost like touching like a landmine for all that I can say. And eventually, one time in the anime, Ash would visit Kiawe's home island of Akala Island, and eventually would meet his family and also meet his little sister, and Kiawe keeps offering to give Mimo a ride on his back. What a true older brother. Eventually, a pollution company would try to buy out their land, which they refuse. And also, if that wasn't enough, eventually Ash would help Kiawe out along with some friends, trying to stop this company from taking Kiawe's farm. And in the episode, Kiawe succeeds and the family still has their farm. And also, it is revealed early that Kiawe delivers something called Moo Milk, as it is produced by his family's farm. And apparently Charizard was his ride all the way from Akala Island to Mele Island. And also there would be some episodes where eventually they would have to trade off partners, and Kiawe got Poplio, and eventually he used Poplio to help him with chores and stuff, and eventually deliver the Moo Milk. After some time, eventually Ash would get his first Z ring and get Electronium Z, and when Ash lost it, and Kiawe lost his nerves as well, getting mad at Ash for losing one of his Z crystals, but this would be short-lived, and so on. When eventually Ash discovered Nebby, Faba tried to take Nebby by force, but then when Nebby teleported Ash and Lily to Aether's Foundation, eventually Faba would make his plan in action and unleash Nihilego, and eventually it would try to take Lily, but was saved by Savalli, and then eventually it would take Lusamine through the Ultra Wormhole. After Lily and Gladion try to go find Lusamine on their own and try to go to the Ultra of the Sun, eventually Ash and the gang would catch up with them. And when they went into the Ultra Beast world, Kiawe along everyone else would have to fight Lusamine's Pokemon, and eventually at the end they all succeeded, and they brought Lusamine back to the Pokemon world, back on to the Aether's Foundation. And then later the Ultra Guardians would be formed, and Kiawe was one of the many Ultra Guardians, and he would also be one of many characters to find random Ultra Beasts and try to capture them in Beast Ball, in little Beast Balls. I know this is a bad representation, but Beast Balls are just like Pokeballs, but with another fun. Eventually, Kiawe would meet Ash's old friends Misty and Brock when they came to take Ash and everyone else on the field trip to Kanto, and eventually he would try to battle Brock, but I'm pretty sure he'd become the victor. And then after that, he would see Misty and Brock again when they came to visit Ash and Alola, and eventually they would fend off Team Rocket on a remote island that Ash found, and using Marowak to defend the Pokemon that were there. Also, when Ash took his second island trial with Island Kahuna Olivia, even though Ash won, also it seems that Kiawe has a connection with Olivia, apparently, as he knew her. And then eventually, after the Ultra Guardians finally got all the Ultra Beasts sent back to their world, eventually the two would journey to Pony Island, and after some disturbances in Tapu Fini's territory, eventually Tapu Fini was mad at them for disturbing some of the peace, and eventually Kiawe had to battle Tapu Lele to get a scale from her so she would release Ash. And eventually, he would get the scale and free them just in time to stop Tapu Fini from harming them. And then, when it was announced that Professor Burnett and Professor Kukui were getting married, Kiawe was a part of their ceremony as they became a couple. And then eventually, during the time when everyone got all their Z crystals, it was time for the Alolan Pokemon League. And eventually, Kiawe was one of many battlers that was in the Manalu Conference. And eventually, he, along with the other characters, would watch Ash compete against all the other opponents like Professor Kukui and Guzma, and then eventually would watch him beat Gladion and win the Pokemon League altogether, making him the Alola champion. After Ash's Alola journey came to a close, Kiawe said bye to Lily as she went to go find her father, and eventually when Ash departed from Alola, Kiawe, alongside the other Alola companions, gave him a surprise goodbye, telling him to come back soon. And then after that, Kiawe, amongst the other Sun and Moon companions, were not seen again until later in Pokemon Journeys. In Pokemon Journeys, eventually Ash, alongside Go, would be invited to Alola as Ash saw that he got a message from Professor Kukui and Burnett telling him that they had their newborn child Lei. And eventually, while going to Alola, Go would come across a bunch of obstacles and would come across the Alola companions, the first being Lana. And then he would be introduced along with Sophocles, Mallow, and then Kiawe. And then Kiawe kind of gave him a look of disapproval as he mixed up at Go for being Ash's rival. But then later, it would reveal that Kiawe didn't know, and if anything, he battled Go with Go coming out the victor, and eventually the two would become friends. After the first appearance in Pokemon Journeys, later in Ultimate Journeys, the Alola gang would be featured again, but except they had Lily this time, who came back from finding her father, and eventually Ash would be challenged to a match with Gladion, Kiawe, Professor Kukui, and eventually they would try to all battle Ash together, trying to take him out as he was the Alola champion. Eventually, they would all not win again against Ash, and then later down the lines, when the Masters 8 tournament took place, Kiawe, alongside the other companions, were watching Ash to see who would outcome be the next monarch, Leon or Ash. And eventually, they would all see that Ash became the next monarch of the Pokemon world. And then after that, Kiawe did not make another appearance, not even in aim to be a Pokemon Master. If I had to say an opinion on Kiawe, if anything, I think he's one of the most well-written characters, despite having the most screen time out of any of the Alola companions. And also, I love how eccentric he is when he gets in battle, especially when he uses his Z move. And also his Pokemon choice, like Turtonator, Marowak, I really like those choices. And also, I would say his Marowak is one of my favorite Pokemons in the anime that is owned by a companion. Also, I really love that his character, even when he went to save Ash, because eventually he and Ash disturbed Tapu Fini's territory, and eventually Kiawe had to get a scale from Tapu Lele by trying to battle it, and that just shows how much of a good friend he is to Ash. But also they did have their moments, when even though Ash was saved by Kiawe when they disturbed Tapu Fini's territory, but they were both in an argument where they just battled and eventually they disturbed something. in which made Tapu Fini mad. If anything, Kiawe is just a really clean-cut character, but mainly well-written, if I must say. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below, and also make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video by me. Also, I do have a poll up on a drawing of which of my OC and which outfit looks better, a trainer or the coordinator outfit. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone!